let's dive right into this explainer on Ganga Dussehra. We're looking at a massive 10-day celebration in India where millions of people revere a river not just as water, but as a living, breathing goddess, Ganga Ma. This festival literally marks her birthday, or her descent to Earth. And it's a time when the physical landscape and the profoundly spiritual realm collide in a way that is just absolutely mesmerizing. To really wrap our heads around the sheer magnitude of this event, we've got a great roadmap today. We'll start with the celebration of Ganga Ma, look at the myth of the curse and the drought, trace her dramatic descent to Earth, zoom way out for a cosmic origin story, and finally, look at the sacred waters today. Starting off with Section 1, the celebration of Ganga Ma, focusing on this incredible 10-day bathing festival of purification. So, during the first 10 days of the month Jyeshta, millions gather to wash away their sins. And you'll see the ancient texts call her Tripathaga, or the three-path river. Why? Well, because she's believed to flow through three completely different worlds. Up in heaven, she's Mandakini. Down in the nether region, she's Bhagirathi. And right here on earth, she is Ganga. She's also celebrated as the daughter of the Himalayas and the goddess Meena. It's just a vast, multidimensional identity. It's so fascinating how that massive spiritual identity maps directly onto physical geography. There are 5 principal centers of worship. She starts high up at Gangotri, that's the source. Then she flows down to Haridwar, which is where those icy waters finally hit the plains. Next up is Allahabad, where she dramatically joins the Yamuna River, followed by the ancient, incredibly holy city of Varanasi. Finally, she reaches Sagara Island in the estuary before flowing right out into the Bay of Bengal. Devotees physically immerse themselves at these exact geographic points to connect with her purifying power.
Moving on to Section 2, the curse and the drought, we're looking at the mythological problem on Earth.
This brings up a really crucial question. If Ganga originally flowed only in the heavens, how did she actually reach the Earth? Because long ago, according to the legend, the Earth was suffering. It was totally parched and dry, going through a catastrophic drought. Why? Well, demons were basically harassing hermits at night and then hiding out in the ocean by day. In desperation, the hermits asked Rishi Agastya for help, and he used his immense gastronomical powers to literally drink the entire ocean just to expose the demons. I mean, it worked for the demons, but it left the entire world completely deprived of water. Against that incredibly dry backdrop, we have this intense mythological timeline playing out. King Sagara of the Ikshvaku dynasty decides to perform an Ashwamedha sacrifice to declare his dominance. This involves letting a sacrificial horse wander freely. Well, the horse vanishes. Sagara sends his 60,000 sons to find it. They eventually track it to a cavern where sage Kapila is deep in meditation. The sons wrongfully assume the sage stole their horse, and they rudely disturb his peace. Honestly, huge mistake. The annoyed sage unleashes a curse that instantly burns all 60,000 sons to ash. Generations pass, and their descendant, a king named Bhagiratha, discovers these unpurified ashes. He desperately wants to perform their final rites, but remember, Rishi Agastya drank the ocean. There is absolutely no water to be found anywhere. Which leads us to Section 3, the descent to Earth, and Bhagiratha's cosmic plea. So, Bhagiratha has to somehow bring the heavenly Ganga down to a parched Earth to save the souls of his ancestors. To pull this off, he basically has to navigate a chain of cosmic bureaucracy. First, he performs these terrible austerities and prays to Brahma, the creator, to end the drought. Brahma says yes, but points him to Vishnu, the preserver, to actually release the heavenly river. Vishnu agrees, but then there's a massive physics problem. The river is so forceful that a direct drop from heaven would literally split the earth in two. So Bhagiratha is told to request the help of Shiva, the third member of the Hindu Trinity, to act as a buffer. To solve this, Lord Shiva agrees to take the gigantic weight of this cascading heavenly river directly onto his head. I just absolutely love this imagery. The wildly destructive force of the river becomes ensnared and delayed, meandering through the intricate labyrinth of Shiva's matted hair. By the time the water finally flows out and descends onto the Himalayas, it's completely lost its world-ending impact. Instead, it gently bestows its life-giving waters onto the parched earth, saving Sagara's 60,000 sons. That is exactly why Shiva is often depicted with Ganga in his hair, known as Gangadhara, and why the river is sometimes called Bhagirati, after the king whose sheer determination brought her down. Now, let's look at Section 4, a cosmic origin story, stepping way beyond the earthly realm. We're going to zoom out to the Shrimad Bhagavatam, an ancient text that gives us an origin story on a truly mind-bending, universe-spanning scale. You'll often hear the river referred to as Vishnupadi, which translates to situated on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. But how did it get there? The text describes a time when Lord Vishnu appeared in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaja in the form of Vamana. In this form, he took a step so massive that it covered the planetary systems. The nail of his left big toe actually pierced a hole straight through the outer covering of our entire universe. Just picture this staggering visual for a second. Through that microscopic puncture in the universe's shell, pure water from the external causal ocean began to leak inside. As these drops flowed in, they washed over Lord Vishnu's lotus feet, which were covered in a reddish powder. This turned the cosmic waters a brilliant, beautiful pink. Those sacred drops fell onto the heavenly planets, specifically Dhruvaloka, for 1,000 millenniums before they ever even made their way down to Earth. It completely reframes the river. It goes from just a geological feature to a stream of pure, transcendental mercy flowing in from outside the universe itself.
Let's move into our final part, Section 5, the sacred waters today. We'll connect the cosmic to the personal. Today, during the Ganga Dussehra festival, how do people actually interact with this incredible cosmic force? Well, according to the texts, there are 7 distinct ways to worship Ganga Ma. And what really stands out about all of them is how incredibly tactile they are. It's not just abstract prayer. It's physically calling out her name. It's having darshan, the act of bearing witness and actually seeing her. It's touching her waters, bathing in them, standing in the current, and even digging out the river's clay to physically carry it with you. It ensures that interacting with a river is a deeply physical, sensory experience that supposedly purified the bather of all sins.
This creates a really beautiful contrast between the physical and the mental. On one hand, you might picture spectacular physical worship at places like Haridwar, wading into those shockingly icy morning waters, or watching a breathtaking flotilla of thousands of leaf boats floating away, laden with flames, flowers, and sweetmeats. But the texts acknowledge that not everyone can make that physical journey. For them, there is Manasa Puja. If you can't actually be there, you can perform mental worship through deep meditation, invoking those exact same purifying blessings from wherever you happen to be right now.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, genuinely fascinating mystery. It's a well-documented phenomenon that you can take a bottle of Ganges water, seal it up, and keep it for years. Unlike ordinary water, it never turns green, it never gets slimy, it maintains its pure condition. Scientists have studied this for a long time, looking at everything from bacteriophages to mineral content, but it still totally blurs the lines between material science and ancient faith. So it leaves us with a really provocative question. Does the river's purity come from a unique microscopic ecosystem, or does thousands of years of unwavering human devotion actually have the power to change the physical world around us?